911, what's your emergency?
I'm being stalked.
Stalked?
Yes, I've barricaded myself in my house, and if I dare set foot outside, the little shit'll kill me.
Who?
One of my students. He's hunted me down. He's standing at the foot of my driveway, waiting. He's wearing a mask of some sort, but I know it's him. No one else gives off such a sinister aura.
Your student?
Yes, I'm a teacher. French, to be specific. He's in one of my classes.
Uh-huh, and how old is this boy?
13.
13?
Yes, I know it sounds absurd. And I know how foolish I may seem, a middle-aged woman terrified of a teenager, but...
Ma'am, calm down. Can you tell me your address? All right, the police are on their way. Where are you in your house?
The bedroom. I'm watching the boy through a gap in the curtains.
How long has he been there?
About 30 minutes now.
And he's remained in the same position the whole time?
Yep, he hasn't moved an inch.
And he's wearing a mask?
Yes, a plain white mask, like Phantom of the Opera. Only it covers his whole face.
And you're sure it's him?
I'm sure.
Okay, ma'am. Just stay where you are. The police are on their way. Is there anything else about his physical appearance that stands out? Can you tell if he's carrying some kind of weapon?
No weapons, but he could be hiding God knows what underneath his raincoat. The thing is much too big for him. He's practically swimming in it. Oh God, what if he kills the police before they can get to me?
Don't worry about that, ma'am. Just stay put. Stay on the line with me.
He's probably hiding a gun under that ridiculous coat. He's probably hiding 10 guns. There isn't much I would put past this boy. He's developed some sick fascination with me. His twisted desires have been festering for months.
What do you mean?
The boy's crazy. He seems to have a crush on me. Can you imagine? I'm old enough to be his mother. Hell, I am a mother. My eldest is only a year younger than that Jared is.
Jared? Is that the boy's name?
Yes.
Ma'am, are you alone in your house?
Yes, that is why Jared came tonight. He knew I would be alone.
He knew?
He's been spying on me, I'm sure of it. For months. He's been leaving elaborate flower bouquets on my desk, writing me sexually explicit notes, and trailing me to and from school on his bike. He found out where I live. And he swore revenge after I rejected him.
Rejected?
He cornered me in the teacher's parking lot one evening. He had a knife and a dozen roses. He shoved the flowers into my hands and he told me that he loved me, that he believed we were meant to be. He said he was prepared to leave his family and his life behind. And in order for us to be together, I would have to do the same.
Uh-huh.
I told him I would do no such thing. Of course I did. I told him he was acting crazy and needed to leave immediately. He lunged at me and he held the knife to my throat. I was convinced he was going to kill me. But then a police car drove by, scaring Jared off, and he disappeared into the darkness. I fell to the ground and just sat there, sobbing for the better part of 30 minutes. Finally, I regained enough composure to get into my car and drive away.
Uh-huh. And did you report this incident?
No, I did not. God, what a foolish woman I am.
Why didn't you report what had happened?
I was in shock and denial. I didn't want to face the danger I was in. The following morning, another note appeared on my desk. It said, "You will be fucking sorry. I am going to make you suffer. You'll be begging me for mercy once I'm through with you."
Uh-huh.
And now he's just standing outside my house, wearing a mask, and staring up at the bedroom window. He knows I can see him. He knows I'm watching. Oh, thank God.
The police will handle this, ma'am. Right now, I need you to stay where you are and await further instructions from the cops.
I see them. I see the cruisers. Oh, no!
What's the matter?
He's pulled out a gun. Jared's pulled out a gun. He's aiming at the police. He's going to shoot.
Stay calm, ma'am.
How the hell am I supposed to stay calm? He's going to kill the police next. And then me.
Jared wounded one of the officers, but they still managed to apprehend him. He was taken to the police station. The caller was taken to the hospital suffering from shock. The call itself is unnerving, but it's what happened next that truly terrified me. After his arrest, Jared spent some time in a mental health facility. His obsession with his French teacher ran deep. An investigation uncovered hundreds of photos he'd taken of her in secret. He had several journals filled with long ramblings, detailing all the sick fantasies he wanted to act out with the woman he desired. After several months, it seemed Jared had improved enough to be released from the hospital. He still had to attend regular sessions with a therapist, but it seemed he had made a turnaround. He graduated from high school and went on to college, all the while maintaining zero contact with his former French teacher. The story didn't truly end for over 20 years. While searching for background information regarding this call, I discovered that in 2018, the woman who made the call had been murdered. She was in her 60s by then and had been stabbed to death in her own living room. DNA found at the scene matched Jared's, but before they could arrest him, the psychopath was killed in a car accident. Some suspected he had crashed on purpose, choosing to die rather than face the consequences of his horrific actions. I guess that old cliché is true. You never forget your first love. Pair that with bitter rejection and a mind warped beyond repair, and you get a brutal murder over 20 years in the making.
"911, what's your emergency?"
There's something up with my roommate.
Are they sick? Hurt?
No, but she's probably gonna hurt someone else if you don't arrest her.
What are you talking about?
She's insane! Completely batshit. She turned my first semester of college into a fucking horror movie, and now she's disappeared off doing God knows what! You have to arrest her.
Ma'am, calm down. What is your roommate's name? Alright, you said she's disappeared. When was the last time you saw her?
Yesterday morning.
So not very long. Have you tried contacting her family? Friends? Is there anyone who might know where she is?
No, I don't know how to get in touch with her family. I barely know anything about them. About her.
How long have you two been roommates?
Only since September. We've both been students at...
I assume you two both have busy schedules, huh?
Yeah, what about it?
Do you sometimes go a couple days without seeing each other?
Well, yes.
So why do you say she's missing?
She left a note.
A note?
Yes, it said that she was leaving for a few days, and that I should stay out of her room.
Uh-huh.
There's a real nasty smell coming from there. I'm scared to go inside. I'm scared of what I might find.
Do you believe your roommate left willingly?
Yes, but you have to find her, before something terrible happens.
You think your roommate is a danger to herself, to others?
Yes, and even if she wasn't insane, I would still be worried. We have exams coming up, and she takes her studies seriously. Also, she left her wallet and phone behind, and all the sharpest knives from the kitchen are missing.
You think she stole them?
I wouldn't put it past her.
Alright, can you tell me a little more about your roommate?
What is there to tell? She's so secretive. I know that she's from out of town, and that during her teenage years, she spent some time in a psych ward.
She has a history of mental illness?
Well, that I can't say for sure. I don't know if she's mentally ill. I'm pretty sure. She's just a sociopath. Is that a mental illness?
I don't know, dear.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just find my roommate, please!
I need your address. Thanks, dear. I'm sending an officer over to speak with you. He will take down whatever information you may have and search your place.
No! You have to send someone after her, not to me.
This is standard procedure, dear. Just trust me, everything is going to be okay.
You can't promise that!
Stay calm, kid. Stay on the line with me, alright?
Okay.
Are you alright, kid?
I almost hope you guys don't find her.
What do you mean?
I don't want to see her again. I don't want her near me.
I need you to calm down.
I'm scared.
I know, honey. I understand, but you're going to be okay.
This isn't the first time it's pulled a stunt like this.
It's not?
No.
What happened?
About a month ago, she disappeared for the weekend.
Uh-huh.
She didn't tell me where she was going, but she packed a suitcase. So I assumed she had gone home to visit her family.
Uh-huh.
I was sick and stuck in the bed for 2 days, so I would have noticed if she came back. She didn't.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hear from her all that time. It didn't surprise me much since we don't talk much, even when we're both home.
Did something happen?
That's what I think. She came home very early Monday morning, and she looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept all that time. She was covered in mud and blood.
Excuse me? Blood?
Yes, she said it was her blood, and that she had been in a car accident. She had fallen asleep at the wheel and driven headlong into a ditch. Instead of trying to get help, she crawled out of the wreckage and walked the rest of the way home.
Did she go to the hospital?
Yes, I took her. On the way there, she was acting very out of it and babbling incoherently. Something about a fire and men and speaking in tongues. It was weird.
What happened next?
I thought she had a concussion, but the doctor at the hospital found no signs of a head injury. Had broken an arm and 4 cracked ribs. But other than that, she was in pretty good shape for someone who had been in such a serious crash.
Uh-huh.
After the car accident, she only got worse. I mean, she had always been weird, but now, I didn't feel safe living under the same roof as her.
What did she do that made you feel threatened?
She began sleepwalking. She would wander around her dorm room in circles, muttering about how she was going to hell and how there was demons coming for her. Sometimes it sounded like she was praying, but I didn't recognize the language.
I see.
I began finding dead files all over, piled up on the windowsills and drowned them in the toilet. And I once found a dead rat on my bed. It had been gutted and drained of blood. I hate rodents. It was disgusting.
And you think your roommate was the cause of all that?
Yes.
You're sure?
Look, it sounds fucking stupid, but there is no other explanation. At least, none that I can think of.
Just hang in there, kid.
I hear them!
Good.
I have to see what's in the bedroom.
No, you don't. Just stay put, all right?
No, I have to see. What if it's...
Hey, are you there? What's wrong?
The police found the caller locked in the bathroom, crying and freaking out. It took them nearly an hour to calm her down and talk her into going back down to the station with them. In the room, they found dead rats in various stages of decomposition, heaps of dead flies, and a charred human body. It was later identified as an elderly woman who had gone missing around the same time the caller's roommate vanished. I could not find the cause of death. As for the roommate, she was found a month later, hanging from a tree deep in the woods. A couple of hunters stumbled upon her totally by mistake. She had left a long rambling suicide note that only raised more questions than answers. She had died the day she disappeared. Police never found the missing knives or figured out why she had taken them. As far as I know, the murder of the elderly woman remains open to this very day. I don't know what became of the caller, but I hope she was able to recover from the trauma of such a horrific experience. I also hope that her new roommate was much easier to live with than the last.
"911, what's your emergency?"
I think I was kidnapped.
Pardon me?
Somebody took me last night.
Do you know where you are, sir?
I'm at my apartment.
So you escaped?
No, they brought me back.
They?
The assholes who took me. Please, send the police before they come back.
What is your address, sir? The police are on their way, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Now I need you to tell me more about what happened.
I was kidnapped last night. You know that.
I need more details, sir.
Oh, where to start? Well, they came in through my bedroom window.
The window?
Yeah, they broke it with a rock. I found it lying on the carpet when I got back.
How many of these people were there?
4.
Can you describe them?
All big motherfuckers dressed in dark trench coats and neon-colored ski masks. 3 of them had what I think were hunting rifles, but the biggest one, the leader, he had a machete.
Uh-huh.
He's the only one who spoke. His buddies remained silent throughout the whole freaking ordeal. He spoke in this weird accent, German, I think, but like deliberately awful, obviously disguising his voice. After they broke in, they found me hiding in my closet with a bedside lamp I grabbed as a makeshift weapon. The leader told me they didn't want any trouble, but that I needed to come with them immediately. Of course, I was like, no fucking way, get out of my house before I call the police. The leader just nodded at one of his cronies who stepped forward and produced a syringe from the pocket of his coat. It was filled with dark, blackish-looking liquid. The assholes held me down and injected me. I tried to fight them off, but I'd been drinking earlier, and I was still in shock, half convinced that this was all a dream and all I needed was to go back to sleep.
Sir, can you tell me what happened after they injected you?
Well, it hurt like hell for a moment. My body was on fire. Every nerve ending was screaming, and yet I felt cold, too. Like my blood had turned into ice water. But then I passed out.
And they took you from your house while you were unconscious?
Yes, I can't tell you how long I was out, but when I woke up, I was lying on a lumpy old couch in what I think was the basement of a house. It was pretty dark, but I could make out what looked like a pool table and a mini fridge. What struck me was the smell. It was this kind of sickly, sweet odor, like an overripe melon. Kind of like the disgusting perfume my high school French teacher used to wear. God, that woman was a bitch. Sorry.
What physical state were you in, sir?
My arms and legs were bound with what I think was some kind of medical tape, but even if they weren't, there was no way I could have moved. I felt exhausted, completely drained. When I tried to sit up, I was overcome with dizziness and nearly passed out. I tried to call out, but my voice was gone. My throat felt raw. There was a disgusting taste in my mouth, like I'd been throwing up. For a while, I just sat there, waiting for something to happen. I should have been freaking out, but I was in too much shock to feel any real fear. But I knew that this was a dangerous situation and that whatever came next, I'd have to be ready. After a while, I started to hear footsteps upstairs, loud, heavy ones, like somebody was stomping around in heavy boots. Then I began to hear arguing. It was two male voices. One of them was the leader of the assholes who took me. It sounded pretty heated, but I could only make out a few words.
And what were those words?
Motherfucker, useless, stupid, payment.
Is that all?
Yes.
What happened next?
The argument lasted about 15 minutes, then someone came to get me. It was the leader, still in his coat and mask. He gestured for me to stay quiet, then cut off the tape. He then blindfolded me with a bandana and frog-marched me up the stairs. We walked through a door, and I felt cold air, so I knew we were outside. The guy said, "A mistake has been made." He then escorted me into some kind of vehicle and drove for a while. When we stopped, he removed the blindfold, and I saw that we were back in my neighborhood.
So he let you go?
Yes, he told me to go inside and that I shouldn't bother calling the police because they wouldn't find anything, but how could I not call the police?
You did the right thing, sir.
Oh, thank God, the cops are here.
They'll take over from here, sir.
While the call itself is pretty unsettling, it's the aftermath that makes the story even scarier. The man who made the call was taken to the hospital. He had no visible injuries and didn't mention being in pain. But since he'd been injected with some strange substance, they figured they couldn't be too careful. Well, as far as I know, the man survived, and the police conducted an extensive investigation. DNA was found at the scene of the crime, but it didn't match anyone in the national database. However, the investigation did uncover something very strange. Apparently, many similar incidents had taken place in that neighborhood over the years. Break-ins, assaults, trespassing, and the victims always described one or more men in neon-colored ski masks and dark coats. The man who made this call was the only kidnapping, and my theory is that they had a specific target in mind, but accidentally took him instead. What they planned on doing to the real abductee is anyone's guess. It seems something really shady was going on in that neighborhood, and the fact that they managed to get away with it just makes it freakier. Who were those guys, and what did they want? I'm sure these same questions also plagued my grandmother. So that's the end of the transcripts. I know it took me a long time to post them all, but I wanted to thank you all for your patience. Goodbye. P.S. Stay safe, all of you.